Okay. Should we
Yes,
leave
yes,
it or
that's
do you
way
want to
better.
restart?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah. No, we're good. We're good. We're good.
Okay.
Yeah, I think your
I think it's
headphones were
time for me to
causing
get
some
new headphones.
issues. It is. It is.
Well, I'm good. How are you?
How are you doing?
Good. Thank you
Good,
so
good,
much
good.
for being on here. You are someone I've wanted to interview for quite some time. I just have so much respect for you and what you've done in the business that we're in, but what you've done in general with your careers, your multiple businesses. So yeah, no, thank you.
Thank you.
So I wanted just to start off again. We've never done this before, so I'd love for you if you could just share with my network. I obviously want to talk about what we do together, but I really love your story. So I would love it if you could kind of share, what brought you, what your past has been, what you do in business, and what has brought you to the place that you are at today. And then I'm hoping to dive into the real estate part too. So if you could share. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. So, just a little bit about my past. I've owned multiple businesses throughout my life. I'm an investor, flip homes. Um, I've owned, multiple real estate investment properties. I have some of the companies that I've owned in the past are technology companies, technology driven. Um, um, then obviously I started a nonprofit organization that I ran for a little while, and then just kind of a little bit around quite a few different things. So I kind of was trying to find what I really was passionate about early on in my life. I started in business pretty young, so I was trying to find and follow trends, and I was pretty successful at that, to be honest with you. I was able to grab, the timing of certain things in business and capitalize on it. And 2007, at the end of 2007, in the United States here, we went through a pretty bad housing crisis. And I was doing real estate, and I had a mortgage company at the time. And as things were falling apart, I was desperately looking for something outside that industry, something that I could do. I had capital at the time, but I didn't have an idea what I wanted to do, and so I was looking at different franchise models, different things that may have worked for that time, and I got a phone call out of the blue from Rick Gutman. Um, and he was asking me if I would like to sit down with him and talk to him about this network marketing company, and I immediately said no, absolutely not. My dad had done a bunch of them and wasn't successful, and I had a really bad taste in my mouth about this industry. And he said, why would you not be willing to sit down with me? And I told him, I said, I've never met anybody that made any money. I saw magazines and videos of these guys standing next to expensive cars and jets and yachts, but I've never personally met anybody. And so I just think that there's only a few people out there that have done well. And he said, well, I'm making $12,000 a month right now. Is that enough for you to sit down with me? And I said, well, I'll tell you what. In 2007, $12,000 a month, pretty good residual income, And I was like, heck yeah. But I figured he wouldn't show up. And I said, the way that I'll sit down with you is that the second you walk through the door, you show me your money, because I don't believe that you're making $12,000 a month. And sure enough, he showed up, which was a shock to me. It was a true shock. I was like, are you kidding? He showed up. I remember my secretary said, there's a guy that wants to see you. And I thought, hey, it couldn't be him, and I had him come in, and sure enough, he said, I said, where's your paperwork? And he said, well, it's on the computer. So if you don't mind me logging in to my back office, and I'll show it to you. And I went through everything. I looked from the day one and watched the growth and watched his business build. And I was like shocked of how this thing worked. And as he unfolded the vision of where he's planning on going, and where how he started, and what he's going to do, it made a lot of sense to me. And so I went home that night and told my wife that we are going to now start selling juice. She laughed at me. And I think she called me an idiot or a couple other things, like, are you kidding? we're not going to sell juice. You know, we need to figure something out that's actually going to pay the bills. And I said, you don't understand. I saw something today that I've never seen before. And as I was trying to explain it, I'm like, this is a puzzle. You do this and you get this. And it's, most things aren't as clear cut and dry as that in business, because there's usually, you know, you do this, but there's hurdles that you can't see along the way. And so I saw it as a massive like puzzle that you could put together, and it worked for me. So I found some decent success in that company, and that was my journey from, you know, traditional business to network marketing. And you know what? A lot of people say network marketing is not traditional business. I think it's becoming more
Yeah.
of a traditional business now. Um, so that and you know, I'm still in real estate. I have I have my real estate license. I still practice transaction. I closed 2 deals last week. So the nice thing is it affords me to be able to do multiple things because I'm a believer in multiple streams of income. So I don't want to keep rambling on because I'm sure you've got a couple
No,
other
no,
questions,
that's
but
great,
that's
and
kind of
I
my backstory.
appreciate that, and I love your story. It's similar to mine too.
Hmm.
This was definitely not an industry that I thought I would want to be a part of, but I think, you know, it's a very misunderstood
Right.
industry, and a lot of people are out there not representing it the way that it should be, and not giving it the professionalism and the credibility that it deserves. So I love your story that you know, you did come from traditional business and have owned multiple businesses and have had great success. And that you've had, you know, and I think you're being modest saying like you had great success in network marketing, right? You have, uh,
Yeah, I mean, and so did you. So, I mean, you know, I mean, let's just be honest. You and I did really well in our former company, and we're doing
yeah,
very well in the company we're at now. I mean, um, and so, I mean, you know, what rank
I
did you
was
hit
just a
in? I
Ruby.
can't
I
remember.
wasn't
Was it Blue
nowhere
Diamond?
near you.
Oh, just a Ruby. Okay, so you know, to your audience that doesn't know what a Ruby is, besides the actual, you know, like if it was on a ring, and that company, we had an income disclosure statement that I think that said a Ruby made around one hundred
Yes,
and
yeah.
fifty thousand dollars a year. Is that correct? Okay, yeah. So you know, that was based upon an average of, I don't know,
Yeah.
you know, 500 rubies, you
Mhm.
know, of people at that level. And so, you know, I would think that that's pretty
That's
good,
pretty
right?
good. Yeah. Um, you know, you being in real estate too, right? Like you, how is what you've learned or have has the information, the skills that you've developed over the years in this industry, how has it applied to your traditional businesses? You know, has it affected them in a way? Has it trickled over? Has it spilled over?
Absolutely, 100%. You know what? When you go from having maybe an office of 10 or 12 or 15 real estate agents, um, and some mortgage, you know, officers, and you're used to different personalities, right? But when you go from scaling from that, and then you get into network marketing, all of a sudden you have 9,000 people in your downline all over the world in different areas. And you know, let's just be honest. You're in Canada, and I'm in California, and our cultures are a little different, right? I mean, a little bit, not massively, but you guys have different traditions and things like that. So what ends
Yeah.
up happening is, you know, as you start to work with people and you start to develop those relationships, you start understanding different backgrounds in different ways. And when you work with a larger mass of people, I mean, to go from working with 15 or 20 different personalities to 9,000 different personalities is crazy, right?
Yes.
And you have to learn how to deal with a larger, it's like a crowd control
Yeah.
or herding cats, right?
Yeah.
In an office of 15, it's easy to gather them. Try to
Okay.
gather 9,000 people, you know,
Right.
that are located all over the world.
Hmm.
So absolutely, you develop a skill of being able to try to understand where people are and where you can meet them and how you can help them. And I believe that really is you know, it makes you a better people person because the more personalities you deal with and the more, I guess, problems you have to solve or issues that you deal with, it just makes you a better manager, a better owner, you know? And
Hmm.
so I think that that has been a very big thing for me is I think I've been a better counselor to and a mentor to the people that worked for me,
Yeah.
just strictly because, I've had to deal with so many people, and the conflicts and the issues arise way more when there's 9,000 people versus 15, 20.
Yeah.
So it's a big change. It was something that I would have never thought that I could ever dealt with, or even thought that this was going to be my path. But it has been, and I've loved the journey for sure.
And now you mentioned before about having multiple streams of income. I'm sure in your line of work with real estate and that you've seen a lot of people either have to sell a home or have a hard time getting into the market, and then being house poor. I mean,
Yes.
can you talk a little bit about the importance in your journey of having multiple streams of income and why it's key to having success?
Absolutely. Well, I think that, there's nothing that lasts forever, obviously. And I think that we're seeing it. I think in the past, there was a lot more stability in work, and the way, people would go to their job and they'd stay there for 30, 40 years. And what we're finding is that's not the case anymore. And industry is changing so much through technology. What could have been a really good job 10 years ago is not now. It's not even be there, right? And so I think that having multiple streams of income, as one income dries up, you can dip into the other, right? And it won't destroy you. And I think that especially now with the ability to communicate to people on a larger scale and through technology, and be able to move faster and have things at a push of a button, I think that you can dip your fingers into more things. I really do. I think that it's a lot easier. If you just looked at, for instance, if you were doing the stock market back 10 or 15 years ago, it looks a lot differently than it does now. Like, I could control my stock account with my iPhone. Okay. 10, 15 years ago, I couldn't do that. You'd have to go to your broker. Prior to that, there wasn't even a computer. You'd have to wait until the paper came out to find out what's going on with the stock, right? Yeah. And so, I'm using that as an example because what ends up happening is through technology, we're able to move faster and we're able to handle more, right? We're able to handle more things. And I think that multiple streams of income is just going to become the norm. It's going to become what people are going to have. I've got this and I've got this, and a side gig right now is or a side hustle, has become extremely popular. The other thing with this new generation, they don't want to be tied down. The new generation wants to have freedom. They want to clock in and out when they want to. They don't want to go to that 9 to 5. They want to be able to be creative and be able to basically go out and be their own boss, but kind of work their own schedule. And this is kind of the new norm. It's a very interesting thing. I'm finding a lot of people out there are really, really striving for that. And that's what I think is going to propel the network marketing industry, because as this younger generation starts to realize that there is time freedom, there is setting your own schedule, and you can build globally through your phone. And so I think we're going to see a really big tick up in this industry because they're just used to that side hustle. Uber and Lyft, for instance, you can turn your phone on and off when you want to work. Well, the problem is you have to show up. If you turn your phone on, you got to show up in order to get paid. What I love about this industry is you can show up once or twice and you can continue to get paid over and over and over. It's not that simple. I don't want to make it seem like, hey, turn your phone on and go do a couple things and you get paid over and over. But yeah. And there's problem solving, other things that you have, and you're dealing with people and you're training and all this other stuff. But it's a schedule you can set. Yeah. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for saying that too. Yeah. We don't want to be giving the perception that it's easy. It's simple, but it is working with people. You're right.
Yeah. So, I mean, anytime you're dealing with people or working with people, that can be hard, but you're going to do that in any job or anything. I mean, exactly. Let's just say if you're an Uber driver, you're going to have to deal with whoever you pick up. You don't know, it's like spin the wheel. Which crazy person is going to show up in my car, right?
Yeah. That's so true. I've heard you talk in the past, and I wanted to touch on this if it's okay. You know, you talk about, I think there's a lot of, even